What's up, guys? It's Talton Robertson back at it again, and today we are going to be reviewing Scoutly versus ScoutIQ. Which of these apps are better? If you're new to the channel, my name is Talton Robertson. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller, and I've been selling on Amazon since 2019. I originally grew up in a small farm town in North Carolina, and we never had a lot of money growing up, so I watched my parents struggle financially. Because of this, I wanted to become an entrepreneur, and lucky enough, I came across selling books on Amazon. And so I've been doing that for several years now, and now I am giving back by helping you guys learn all of the tips and tricks that I use to be successful when it comes to selling on Amazon. So this video is about Scoutly versus ScoutIQ right here. And so anyways, we're going to be comparing these two, but if you don't know what Scoutly or ScoutIQ are, they are scanning apps, scouting apps, one and the same. Essentially, the point of these apps are to go and scan items such as books, DVDs, CDs. The app itself will help you determine whether or not the item that you are looking at is profitable to buy and then resell on Amazon. So, how does the app know that something's profitable to sell? So, what the app does is it will use certain metrics such as days of sales, rank, price, and just how many competitors are selling against you. And it takes all those factors and it will display a result whether the item is profitable or not. And so essentially, we're just trying to figure out what is profitable and what isn't. But if you are already familiar with Scoutly or ScoutIQ, then this video is for you because I'm going to be diving deep in all of the different settings and options that both apps have to offer and what makes them different. So let's jump right into that. So the first thing I want to touch on is going to be the basic functionality. And so the basic functionality of both of these apps is to use your phone's camera or a Bluetooth scanner. And then you're just going to go up to your barcodes and you're going to take a picture. Essentially, you'll scan the barcode and it'll give you a result. And so this is the basic functionality for both apps. Another point I want to touch on is going to be the display. So as you can see from this picture right here, we have the display of Scoutly here on the left and then ScoutIQ here on the right. And so you can see as you're scanning your different items, both of these will pretty much look the same. There's a couple differences as far as the placement. You can obviously see where your barcode reader is as far as the placement goes. They both have some kind of quick scan or speed mode. And down here at the bottom, you can see that you can change it from a barcode to an ISBN to a title. The same things are over here. OCR is optical character recognition, which is the same thing ISBN is for ScoutIQ. So, as far as the display goes, they're nearly identical on the scan screen. Now, as far as your results screen goes, that actually changes. And so that has to do a lot with Scoutly having a lot of customization options to where ScoutIQ doesn't offer as many customizations as Scoutly. But as you can see here, it's going to give you about the same results. They both say 18 used, 3 new. So that's the same. What Scoutly does do will display how many FBA offers there are and how many new FBA offers there are. Now, ScoutIQ does the same, but it kind of just groups them all together. So there are little differences there. Now, as far as the sales score and the e-score goes, I want to say that ScoutIQ is probably a little more accurate. It seems that way because of their chart, but I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But for the most part, they're going to give you your FBA profit. You enter your buy cost. On this side, I have no buy cost. On here, I had $2. So that's the difference in the profit right there. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, these are working exactly the same. Now you can see that the wholesale is turned on, and you can actually get 3 wholesale offers here on Scoutly, to where you only get the one on Scout IQ, and they use SBYB on Scout IQ, to where on Scoutly you get a bunch more. But not to go too deep into that, I want to touch base on the charts. So this is the Scoutly chart for that item. And you can see it's okay. It's an okay chart. Nothing wrong with it. However, it's very boxy. And so a lot of these boxiness kind of messes you up, because you don't really, I mean, if you can read the chart, you can read the chart, but it's not as easy to read as Scout IQ's. And so if we look at Scout IQ's chart, wow, looks so much better. So we can actually see what the price was on here when we are looking at the Scout IQ chart. And it gives you the used price and the new price. Now, if we go back to the Scout chart, it's going to give you the used price, but they also have a used buy box price. So the used buy box price actually goes a lot further if you are an FBA seller. So in this particular example, it did not have the used buy box being tracked. So it doesn't have it for this example. But if you use Scoutly, you have seen it's typically pink, pink line for the used buy box. You have seen the pink line in Scoutly. So I am an FBA seller. I like the pink line, but when I'm comparing just the charts, I like the way the Scout IQ chart looks, because the sales rank here just looks so much better. I can literally see where the sale happens, because I can see this massive dip on the sales rank. And so when that happens, I know a sale happened. So with that being said, I do like Scout IQ's chart much better than Scoutly's, but Scoutly's is also good too. But, it is what it is. I personally use Scoutly for the most part, but I have been using Scout IQ more recently. When it comes to databases, both apps do give you a database. However, Scoutly has been in business a little bit longer, so their database may be a little more comprehensive. However, Scout IQ has been in business long enough to where their database is pretty much full. There may be some gaps in either database. However, they're really insignificant when it comes to the grand scheme of things, which is finding your items faster using the database mode. So, as far as that goes, I would say their databases are essentially the same. There's really not a big difference in them. So, there's also triggers. Now, when it comes to triggers, they both have profit triggers. And this is great because we're able to manually go in and change these triggers so that we can get minimum profits on the items that we are pulling to sell on Amazon. So let's say we're going to a thrift store, we're scanning all the barcodes, and then we pull a book. That book may have a profit of $8, which is in our parameters. And it's based on the profits based on the fees associated with Amazon and shipping. So it basically breaks it all down for you based on the trigger set and the amount of profit that we are looking to get for our dollar cost. So as far as the triggers go, they are one and the same. You can customize either one to perform the same actions and make the same sourcing decisions. So as far as triggers go, they're one and the same. I will say that Scoutly does offer one additional feature that Scout IQ does not, and that is using average rank. So if average rank is important to you, then you should definitely consider Scoutly as the option, just because average rank would be the average rank for that item. So let's say the average rank for the item is 10 million, right? But it sold 2 days ago. So now the rank is like 250,000. So if you came across a book with a rank of 250,000, you would think that is a great buy, especially if it has a lot of profit. But in reality, the average rank is 10 million. And so it may take 3 to 5 years for that book to sell. So that would not be something I would pick up based on average rank. And so I will say Scoutly does have the upper hand because of the average rank. When it comes to the pricing, they are very similar in some regards, but at the same time, they are very different. So let's look at the pricing for Scoutly first. This is a seller tool / pricing. This is the website that you can actually purchase a seller tool, Scoutly, in other words. And you can see that they do have some one-time payment options. This is for live only for lifetime. And then this one right here is 5 years for Scoutly plus the database. And you can see that they're kind of expensive. Probably not what a beginner would want to buy because you don't even know if you like the process. But if we scroll down, we have the light plan. Now, this is one of the easiest plans to get started with because it literally takes no money whatsoever to really get started. We're talking $9.95 per month. And so if you've got $10, you can get you the scanning app, and now you're able to start sourcing for books. And so that is one of the best ways that I would say get started if you are really lacking money. Now, there is a free option. You could use the Amazon app. That's for a different video. However, I am literally talking about Scoutly versus ScoutIQ. So for $9 a month, you get live lookup. In addition to that, you also get your listing software and online arbitrage. And I'm not going to get into that, but those are just some added features. Then we have the professional plan, and this is going to be my most recommended plan. This is the one that I use. And so the reason I use this is because of the database mode, which allows me to scan books faster than the competitors. And so you can see here, it is $35 a month. And you can also get an annual plan or a 6-month plan, but $35 a month, that's the monthly plan. That is what I use. And so that would be the one I would recommend. You can also get a volume discount. Now, this is when you add on team members to your team. And so any additional plan would be only $30 a month. So for $65 a month, I have myself as a scanner, and then I have an employee as a scanner. And so I'm able to pay $65 a month for this plan and have 2 people sourcing for me at the same time. And so, the more you spend, essentially, the cheaper it is to some degree. It's never going to get below $30 unless you get like a 5-year plan or something like that, right up here. But $30, $35 a month, it's not bad. And that's pretty much it for the Scoutly. So let's compare that to ScoutIQ's pricing. So right here we have ScoutIQ's pricing. Now this is $44 a month. Now this is the equivalent of the professional plan. This is the database plan, and you get unlimited live lookups and a downloadable database, same as Scoutly, for $35. However, when you do get the annual plan, it is $36 per month, which is still $1 more than the Scoutly plan. So as far as price goes, I really do recommend Scoutly, but ScoutIQ is great, especially for beginners, because it doesn't give you a whole lot of options. It's not very confusing. Their triggers are a little bit better off gate. So ScoutIQ would be a great starter scanning app. It just makes it a little easier for someone who doesn't have that much experience working with this app. And then you also have your live only plans. Like I said, it's equivalent to Scoutly's $9.95. You're looking at $14 a month, and then $10 if you sign up for the annual subscription. And so, as far as price goes here, Scoutly is the winner all day long. However, ScoutIQ does give you a lot of added benefits. And so when it comes to the benefits, Scoutly, they have the online arbitrage tool, and they also have listing software. So those are kind of like your bonus add-ons. With ScoutIQ, however, you get tons and tons of resources to help teach you what to do, how to find these books, how to use the app successfully. And so they even offer like 100-book challenge, to where it challenges you to go out there and get 100 books every single week. And so if you're able to get 100 books every week, you're actually able to build a pretty decent business at that level. Now, I will say you get upwards of 200 to 300 books a week, then you're really starting to roll in the dough. But regardless, you have to start from somewhere. And so if you're a beginner, ScoutIQ does walk you through the process a lot more than Scoutly does. When it comes to the customization, I want to say Scoutly is the clear winner. Because if you look at the ScoutIQ screen I have right here, you can see that we have a few different options. Always awake, you can turn on and off the audio. There's a vibration, ISBN searches only. You can also turn on the lock screen, you can change your scanning mode, and you can even add a custom link. And then you can also turn on your wholesale audio cues and sell back your book wholesale integration. And so that's pretty much it. Those are all the settings you really have when it comes to ScoutIQ. But if you're really looking for something custom, something that you can really kind of make your own, Scoutly is going to be the way to go. So when we go to the Scoutly, you can see there's a lot more here. And so you can download your database. Turbo Lister is their added on listing software. They also offer a data test. You can change your operating mode. You can customize your profit triggers. They have a Zipit buyback cart, so you can add, books to your Zipit cart automatically. You can have a custom action on repeat scanning. I'm not going to go into that. You can even have an accept list. So this is books that may not trigger for Amazon. So let's say you have somebody in your hometown that will buy every Harry Potter book that you find, like a bookstore or something. You can put your Harry Potter on the accept list or whatever books they're looking for. And you can become that dealer for that person based on a list that they give you of ISBNs or titles or whatever it is. But you have to manually go in there and add them. History and watch list, kind of the same thing. You get to see your history, and then a watch list is kind of like your accept list, except for you can add a different screen to it. You can also lock your screen, and then there's more in-depth settings here. You got basic triggers, which we really don't touch on those. Advanced triggers, I don't really touch on those either. Essentially, your profit triggers are advanced triggers. So there's really no need for either one of these. You can change your rank color. You can also turn on and off your audio or change your audio sounds. Now, under the display, you can have it show profit trigger, history chart. You can check your restrictions, wholesale integration, so many different types of views. You can MF for no FBA trigger. You can display FBA versus MF profit. And so you can see there is just so many more options here. And so if you really want to fine tune something to tell you exactly what you're looking for, I would totally recommend Scoutly. And so I really like Scoutly because of all the customizations, because I actually changed the rank color on mine so that if the rank is getting a little on the higher end, it lets me know. That's like, it may be green, but I see a little bit of red where the rank is. And so I might take a second look at this and say, oh, this book doesn't sell that fast. Do I really want it? And so Scoutly just gives you so many different options. Now, let's talk about the free trial, because that is important. And so if we look at a seller tool here, which is Scoutly, they don't mention the trial. However, there is a 30-day free trial for the professional plan. This is the only plan that you can get a free trial for. And so when you sign up for the professional plan, your first 30 days are free. And so a 30-day free trial is great because that gives you a lot of time to learn and use the app and make some money initially at no cost to you. Now, ScoutIQ also offers a free plan, which is great, but it's only for 14 days. So not even half as long as Scoutly's. However, their free plan works on either subscription, whether it be the live or the live and database. And so a pro tip here is that if you are unsure which one you like better, go ahead and sign up for the free subscription for one. Use it for the entire length of the trial and just, cancel it the day before. And then use the other one for the entire length of the trial and then cancel it the day before, and then make a decision based on which one you like better, which one you think you would prefer using or paying for. And so I recommend using both apps because some people love Scoutly and some people love ScoutIQ, and that's just the nature of the business. Everybody has their preferences, and there are other scanning apps that people use that aren't really these two. There's stuff like Scoutify and Profit Bandit and whatnot, and so some people use those. However, these are the two biggest that come to mind, especially when it comes to booksellers. And so if you're going to, try either one of these, I would suggest getting the free trial, signing up for the database mode for each of them, because that's going to give you the most amount of scans for that trial. Essentially, you're able to scan faster with database, so you're able to get more scans in per hour, per minute, etc., etc. So with that being said, there's just one thing left that I wanted to touch on, and that is going to be the sound. And I know that this is crazy, but I prefer a particular sound. And you may not care, it may not matter to you, but for some reason, there is a stimulus built in that makes me want to keep scanning more and more and more with one of these apps. So I'm going to first let you hear the sound of ScoutIQ when you scan a good book. And so I pulled a good book from my shelf. This is Special Operations During the American Revolution. This is a book I found at a library sale. I paid $3 for it. And so I should make pretty decent money on this. But if I pull up ScoutIQ, you can see it here, ScoutIQ. We're going to hit the scan button. So that button on the right, I know I'm having a hard time here, but scan. All right, listen for the sound. You hear that? Okay, I'm gonna do the same for Scoutly. And this is the one I love, the Scoutly one. So just wait for it. Here it goes. Cha-ching, baby. And so I just love the cha-ching sound. I wish ScoutIQ had the option to change that. Really, a lot of customizations on ScoutIQ would benefit the app a lot. And I think that's the one thing that it's really missing to compete with Scoutly, because Scoutly just has so much more. But like I said, ScoutIQ is really good for beginners. And so my closing thoughts on everything is essentially, if you're a beginner, try out both. See which one you like. I do recommend getting into ScoutIQ first, because as a beginner, they're going to give you everything that you need to know to get started. They have tons of training material. They have a group that you can join, and the community that's built around these groups are full of booksellers who've been doing it for years and years, and I'm actually a part of that community. And so you can even find me on there. I comment, I post, I do what I can on there. However, I'm more focused on what I got going on. So, but I'm always reading and learning and just staying active in the group, because how else can you perfect a skill if you don't stay involved? And so the skill of selling books on Amazon is a skill that, you can get better and better with at time. And so one of the things that I've gotten better with is just finding books without having to scan them. And, that is a real particular skill that will help you grab, way more books than your competitors when it comes to library sales, because you don't even have to scan them. You've seen these books before. You've sold these books before. You recognize these books from where other people have posted. And so getting into that community is really important. Now with Scoutly, it is more advanced, so if you have been scanning and selling books on Amazon for longer, you may like Scoutly more. But at the same time, I do feel like ScoutIQ does give better results when it comes to the e-score. I think their e-score is a little bit more accurate than Scoutly's days of sales. That's just my personal opinion. I really cannot tell you why it seems that way, but a lot of times I'll scan the same book with both apps, and sometimes the ScoutIQ gives more days of sales versus Scoutly. So there could be some differences there, but ScoutIQ obviously has the better chart. However, I do use Keepa a lot, so I don't necessarily need the ScoutIQ chart. So, closing thoughts, if you haven't gotten or downloaded either one of these apps, go ahead and start that free trial for one of them and go out there and scan. And that's just how you got to get started. All right, guys, that's me, Talton Robertson. I hope you liked this video and I hope it was entertaining and informative. If you really liked it, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I would love for you guys to leave a comment. Which one of these apps do you feel like is better or works best with your current business model? And I would love any other feedback, guys. And if you need any other help, guys, I would suggest going to TaltonRobertson.com. That's TaltonRobertson.com. This is where I talk about everything Amazon, selling books. And, if you need help, you can go on there and hit the message button at the bottom. Give me a message. I'm here to help. I do charge for some of my services, but if it's just a quick question, guys, just reach out to me because, I'm trying to help out as many people as possible get to where they want to be at in life and hopefully obtain time freedom like I have for myself. All right, guys, I'm out. Until next time.